Okay, June 1st, 2014. We're at Alair State Park in New Jersey, and they have a reenactment today. And we did one video. Now I'm going to ask Ben, who is a professional photographer, who has images in galleries, and he's been in newspapers and magazines. I'm going to ask him some just spontaneous questions and see what happens. Okay, the first question is, I noticed that you shoot Nikon. Is there any particular reason why you chose Nikon?
Well, I've been using Nikon since the 70s. And at that time, I started off in photography using a Minolta. And it just didn't have the features that I needed. And I had to expand, and I had to get into a more professional model. And I looked into a number of models, and Nikon was my choice back into the 70s. And I've stayed with Nikon through all the years, even through the years that they weren't pursuing the digital photography field as much as the other manufacturers were. But I stayed with them, and I like their equipment. I like the feel of the camera. I more or less grew up with it, so it fits the palm of my hand. I think it's indented in my hand.
Did you ever shoot with medium format, or did you start with 35 millimeter?
I started with 35 millimeter. I did shoot medium format, and I did that doing some studio work, some product illustration. And
was that you, Ben, or was that a Canon?
And I used the medium format for, as I was saying, my portrait work, my product illustration, work like that. I would use it. Otherwise, 35 millimeter was my format.
Okay, now comparing commercial newspaper magazine photography and hobby photography, how would you say there's a difference in, if there is any, in post-processing?
Well, I don't see that much of a difference, because whenever you're taking a photograph and you get into your lab, of course today it's your computer, you're looking at the image, and in my case I try to do, with my cameras, I try to shoot full frame. And that's not meaning the difference between FX and DX digital cameras today. When I say I shoot full frame, what I see in my viewfinder is my photograph.
So you don't crop?
I try not to crop.
Okay.
My intent is not to crop. It was more or less my upbringing through all the years in photography was not to crop. You're photographing your viewfinder, and it saves a lot of post-processing of cropping.
Now, when you submit work to a newspaper, do they sometimes crop for whatever reason they might, or do they use the image or not use the image?
They will crop if they feel that cropping is necessary, but usually with most of the time with the newspapers and whatever publications I was dealing with, what I submitted they used as is. Very rarely do I remember them ever cropping anything I did. That's not to say that they haven't done it with other works. Okay.
Now, in the world of photography, we have. Did you do that? Did you do that, Ben?
I think they're looking for us.
We have street photography, portrait photography. We have 10, 12, 15 different kinds. What are your favorites in terms of if you could classify them?
Well, see, that's difficult because I like photography in general. And there are times that I'll go out, and if I'm in a situation where I feel, I think there's a lot of opportunity here to approach this on a street photography level. And in that, what you're trying to do is you're trying to capture what is going on in the area that you're in. On people walking down the sidewalk, interesting clothing, interesting facial expressions, people walking arm in arm, something being sold, something being advertised, all of that into play with each other. So I would probably shoot that on on a level of street photography.
All right, I think we'll conclude this video because YouTube people, they don't like long videos. After a couple of minutes, they turn it off. So,
Good, because we're liable to get shot the next time
right.
around.
So thank you very much, and we'll probably do another one on other different subjects. But this is great. We have a great day today, and you enjoy the rest of the day.
Okay, Ken, have a good one.
All right.